Chelsea's emphatic win away at Wolves was not only just an away win, recording Enzo Maresca's first win in the Premier League, but rather it was a statement of intent by Chelsea. The second half performance exemplified what Enzo Maresca has been doing with this team in training. And in our video today, we are going to heavily delve into the in-possession tactical analysis of Chelsea. Now, Chelsea and Wolves both lined up in a 4-2-3-1 structure, though Chelsea's structure morphed into that 3-5 structure, and Wolves playing with a back four actually made Chelsea play very well against that system. And I'm going to show you how Chelsea managed to manipulate Wolves, a team that looked so rigid and solid against Arsenal, but Chelsea actually managed to break down this team. Before we start, do not forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel. So, Chelsea looked to build from the back by dropping their two centre-backs in the back line. This gave Robert Sanchez options and players ahead of him, and this was advised as Wolves were looking to press Chelsea aggressively high. Now, I've told you how if teams press Chelsea with a front two, they will form a back three. If you press them with one player, they will form a back two. The essence of Maresca wanting his wingers high and wide. But did Maresca perform this well against Guardiola in his last match? To some extent, yes. But how did Manchester City look to impose this high press against Chelsea? And why Wolves was unsuccessful? Now, when you look at this structure, you can see Manchester City in a solid 4-4-2 structure looking to try and press Chelsea aggressively high. Chelsea are creating this wide structure with Nkunku and Marco Cucurella looking to start wide. Now, Chelsea are trying to play through Manchester City, but unlike other teams, Manchester City understands how to press this system because they know that the forward players need to be excessively aggressive on the players in possession to deny them any time and space. So they look to try and create that situation where they are pressing Chelsea aggressively high, and they actually force Chelsea to play the ball back to the goalkeeper. This is because they have tried to put the three Chelsea centre-backs in under pressure. Now Chelsea is forced to play the ball to Marco Cucurella, and immediately Savinho is on to Cucurella. Now, one thing that Wolves did not do like Manchester City is that their pressing was not quite intense, and Chelsea were not quite scared, and therefore when Cucurella received the ball, he would play the ball back to Christopher Nkunku, and once he would play the ball back to Christopher Nkunku, Rico Lewis was ready to shift across, but I would prefer if Enzo Fernandez would have been making that run. Now, Nkunku plays the ball back to Marco Cucurella, and now Marco Cucurella is under pressure by Savinho, but I would prefer if Enzo Fernandez was making that run so that Nkunku could play that ball in space. But because Fernandez did not look to make that run, that made Chelsea go backward, and actually it made Manchester City to even now put more pressure against Chelsea. Now, because Manchester City were a structured team in pressing Chelsea from the back, Chelsea sometimes showcased how they improved playing from the back by looking to create numerical overloads. And Manchester City's forwards, who are quite aggressive in going man-to-man against Chelsea's backline, found themselves in some trouble in some instances in the game. For example, Enzo Fernandez would be picking this position in this kind of space, ready to actually create problems for Manchester City and create that 2v1 overload against Rico Lewis. And I'm going to show you how this destroyed Wolves. Now, because Fernandez was picking that position, he was picking that position in an inside form rather than peeling out and allowing Nkunku to stay out wide. Now, because Fernandez was picking up this position, it was easy for Savinho to actually cut that passing lane, because now Cucurella could not make that direct pass to Fernandez, and rather would play the pass to Nkunku, who will be covered by Rico Lewis. But Chelsea adapted to this structure. This is showcasing how Enzo Maresca actually adapted. Now, in the game against Wolves, when teams decided to try and press Chelsea towards and force Chelsea towards one side, the position of Enzo Fernandez was very important, and that's why he had a very good game. He would make these dummy positions, either trying to play as a central midfielder to give Colwill an option, but sometimes he will allow Colwill to play the ball to Marc Cucurella and actually look to occupy a wider position. Now, the main aim is to try and create that wide overload. That's why we saw Chelsea creating these overloads down the left. And once he would create this overload down the left, he will receive the ball with no pressure. And once he received the ball with no pressure, he will drag the opposition midfield onto one side. And this now will enable him to either play the ball back to Jackson or look to play the ball to Mudryk. But in this game, Mudryk was not quite effective in looking to make those runs. And even when he was played the ball, he would easily lose possession. But time and time again we saw in this game is the role of Nicholas Jackson in this system. And other times what we will see is Enzo Fernandez will pull so wide. Now look at this clip here. Cucurella has the ball, and once Cucurella has the ball, he has passing outlets to play either to Fernandez or to play a ball over the top. And I would really like to see Chelsea looking to play those balls over the top. Now Cucurella in this position has the chance to play this ball. He receives this ball. Once he receives this ball, you can see the position of Enzo Fernandez, because Enzo Fernandez's position is very important on how Chelsea are looking to play. So Fernandez peels out towards the touchline area to play as a wingback, pulling a central midfielder on that other side. The other central midfielder cannot follow to cover for his other midfielder because Palmer will be free. Now that created a hole in midfield where Jackson could drop deep. And Jackson played exemplarily well because he will drop deep, receive this ball, but the problem is Mudryk was not looking to make this run in that space where Jackson had left it. If Mudryk would be making that run, Jackson would just be flicking the ball for the runs of Mudryk. Now you can see in this clip, Palmer is holding one midfielder and one fullback. Noni Madueke is high and wide. Jackson is dropping deep into that space to receive the ball directly from Marc Cucurella. Jackson dropping deep to receive this ball will actually give Chelsea numerical advantages. Now, when Enzo Fernandez receives this ball, Mudryk is not looking to make that run, but rather looking to give Fernandez a passing option. But Fernandez, time and time again, will know how to play that cross-field ball, especially to Noni Madueke. Now, look at the position of Noni Madueke in this team. He's playing high, he's playing wide. He's actually ensuring that the fullback is actually in a 2v1 situation. And Palmer is ensuring the fullback is not covering Noni Madueke. Now, the ball is shifted across, and you can see as the ball is coming, it's going to find Noni Madueke in a position where he is high, he is wide, and he has a lot of acres of space to actually run into. And this is why Enzo Maresca kept shouting from the touchline that Chelsea should know how to shift the ball quick. The position of Palmer was allowing Madueke to receive a lot of space down the right. And this is because Palmer in that half space position was tying the fullback in an inward position. And because of Palmer's position, the fullback could not shift across to cover Noni Madueke. And this 2v1 overload created a lot of problems for the Wolves fullback. And this, not aided by wingers who are looking to drop deep to help, created even more problems for Wolves themselves. So, Wolves had to try and change their approach. And when they tried to change their approach, they realized that Chelsea were ready for them. Because I'm telling you, this Chelsea team, a lot of people should really be scared of them. Because now Chelsea shifted into a pseudo back four with Sanchez. I told you the deadly weapon of using Sanchez as an extra goalkeeper. And Palmer and Enzo Fernandez pulling out wide, stretching that midfield. Now, this stretching of the midfield created that space again for Jackson to drop deep as a false nine. Now, Jackson will drop deep and receive the ball directly from Sanchez or directly from Colwill. And once he will receive the ball, he will look to link up play and even sometimes look to be making that run. Alternatively, because of the high and wide positions, sometimes the fullbacks will be dropped in, and that is what actually made Sanchez to play that ball for Jackson, who managed to score, to hand it over to Palmer and score a goal. Now you can see Chelsea have shifted into a back four with Sanchez playing as a right-sided centre-back and Fofana putting to play as a pseudo right-back. Malo Gusto has inverted in midfield to give Chelsea that midfield overload. Now, looking at this structure again, you can see Dewsbury Hall. Now, this is the second half. Dewsbury Hall coming in, he understands the half space position. So immediately Jackson drops deep. Dewsbury Hall is wise as he moves to occupy the position that Jackson left, retaining the centre back not to follow Jackson, allowing Jackson to receive the ball with time and space. And as Dewsbury Hall drops into Jackson's position, he moves into this inner position to allow Pedro Neto to drop deep and receive the ball. Neto receives the ball from Fernandes, and Chelsea are now dragging Wolves towards the left-hand side. Remember, I told you Chelsea liked to play down the left so that they can pull Wolves down the left and create that overload. Now, Palmer, who came in and started to play as a false nine, will look to move towards the left to also increase that overload. And look at the position that Palmer is picking. Now, look down the right, Noni, Madueke and Gusto are creating that overload. So Dewsbury Hall pushes forward, pulls a centre back out of position, and now Palmer is playing in a position where he can make that run, or he can look to receive the ball. But now if Palmer receives this ball here, this centre back will have left the back line exposed, because now Dewsbury Hall has pulled a centre back out of position, and now Chelsea under Pedro Neto is able to spot Palmer's free position. Now, Wolves are unaware of Palmer's positioning. So Palmer receives this ball here. And now the centre back is left in two occasions. Should I go for Palmer? And if I go for Palmer, if Palmer beats me and I'm the last man, I will receive a red card. So he's unsure whether he should be tight on Palmer or allow Palmer. But as he is thinking, Pedro Neto, unlike Modric, is very quick. Once he has played the ball to Palmer, he immediately looks to make that run. Remember, Dewsbury Hall has already dragged the other centre-back out of position. So Neto now is making that run. Palmer spots the run of Neto and plays a carefully weighted pass to Neto. Now Neto in this position is able to run, make a cross, and actually allow Joao Felix to score the 6th goal. Now this is perfect football, showing positional play, the changes in positions, the changes in the passing, things that we've really wanted to see from Chelsea for a very long time. And that's why this is something that really scared a lot of teams and a lot of pundits who are watching this game. They saw a Chelsea that they could not recognize. Now, higher up the pitch, we saw how Chelsea were able to manipulate Wolves. Now, Arsenal struggled to destroy Wolves because of the structure in which Arsenal were using. So Chelsea would like to use that box midfield, with Gusto being the one to invert in that midfield position. Now, the issue with this box-shaped midfield is that teams have known how to counter this by having a front four. So they want to create that 4-4 structure that creates that solid box block in front of their goal to deny the opponent the space. But Maresca knew this, so he decided that he's going to have his these two players in those half space regions, to drop wide, especially Fernandes. Now Fernandes will be dropping wide to receive the ball in this fullback kind of wingback position and look to draw in a player and look to have Modric 1v1 against the fullback. But Modric was not quite good in beating his fullback. Unlike Pedro Neto came in and he actually gave Chelsea different strength in that area, because Pedro Neto is not afraid to hold on to the ball and he does not lose the ball carelessly as Modric. Now, because Pedro Neto came in and he holds the ball better than Modric, Chelsea decided to have Marco Correa playing in a slightly wider position. Now, when you look at Chelsea's back three, they are now playing with a wide back three. Even look at the position of Fofana. Fofana is almost playing like a right back, and Colwill is having to play as a left-sided centre back with no natural right-sided centre back. And because Chelsea were looking to have Cucurella playing in that full-back position, they were actually looking to try and create a wide overload. And because Chelsea were looking to create that wide overload down the left by also having Fernandes moving down that left-hand flank, Fernandes was actually creating problems because he was dragging this Wolves midfield. And because he was dragging this Wolves midfield, he will create spaces for Jackson. Jackson will drop deep. received this ball, and we saw Jackson making these flick-on passes. This is another thing that I'm really impressed, because Jackson would make those flick-on passes and pass the ball back to Palmer. Now look at that position. Jackson is dropping deep to receive the ball directly from Fernandez, and look at the position of Cole Palmer. Palmer is in that position where he's actually not close to the fullback, but looking to create that overload. And Noni Madueke has acres of space, and that's why I think that is one thing that Maresca told the players, that be looking to create that left-sided overload and create space down the other side. Now, positional play has these quick shifts of play. Now, the ball is played crossfield to Noni Madueke, and now this fullback is caught into two. Should I cover Palmer? Should I cover Noni Madueke? And because this fullback is caught into two, he doesn't know what to do in that kind of situation. And because he doesn't know what to do in that kind of situation, if Palmer receives the ball, he's able to slip Noni Madueke in those positions. And that's why we saw Noni Madueke time and time again had that space in front of goal. Now this fullback is looking. The other centre back cannot move because Jackson, it will be free. If he moves towards this side, then Palmer can play Jackson, and actually Jackson is in a much better position to score a goal. But he decides to hold on to Jackson, allowing Palmer to have that space to play the ball back to Madueke. Madueke in this position pulls the fullback, and now Palmer spots that space in that half space and is making the run towards that direction. Now, when Palmer makes that run towards the direction, he finds himself in this hole in front of the box. And once, if Palmer receives this ball here, he immediately looks to and actually put Chelsea in a position where they can score. But Noni Madueke decides to go alone. Now, the position of Palmer was really creating problems for Wolves' backline, because he would look to try and create that overload and look to try and drop deep and create those kinds of problems for Wolves. Now, this tactical system showcases how Enzo Maresca is actually improving Chelsea for the better. Their in-possession play has really improved, showcasing how Enzo Maresca is actually instilling his tactical philosophy in the team. The positions of Jackson in that team are actually indicating the direction in which Enzo Maresca wants to move, indicating that Enzo Maresca is actually trying to move towards the situation where Chelsea will be heavily relying on false nine. Rather than focusing on trying to have a natural number 9, you are relying on a false 9. In that case, Nicholas Jackson can do a great job. And this is actually giving me the theory that Enzo Maresca will heavily rely upon his attacking midfielder and his wingers to contribute to numbers in goal rather than Jackson. But Jackson can be used as that focal point, who's strong, who's fast, and whose ability to link up play will actually get the best out of Noni Madueke, Pedro Neto, Cole Palmer, and probably Dewsbury Hall or Joao Felix, whoever will be playing in that number 10 position. And because of that structure, what we expect is that Chelsea should be in a position where they are able to dominate and kill off teams in the attack. My question now is, will Chelsea need Victor Osimhen? In my opinion, I think Victor Osimhen's wage structure will deter Chelsea from going for him. And I believe the rumors that Chelsea are actually going to bring Jadon Sancho is actually indicating that Chelsea are moving towards that structure of having deadly, lethal wingers. And in my preference, I prefer having a deadly front five where if Jackson can contribute to 15 goals, Palmer can contribute to 15 goals, Noni Madueke 10 goals, the other left winger 10 goals. At least across the front line, you have around 55 goals. And then you can have maybe goals from midfield, goals from the defense. And that is actually something that can push Chelsea onto the next level. I was very impressed with the progress of Noni Madueke in this game. I was very impressed with how Chelsea looked to build from the back. Now, in our next video that will happen tomorrow on this analysis, we'll be looking at how Chelsea lined themselves up out of possession. Our next analysis is Chelsea without the ball. And Chelsea's positioning without the ball will inform us how Enzo Maresca managed to control that game in the second half. Stick out for the next episode that will be dropping tomorrow. And if you've watched this video, do not forget to like, share and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this, and thanks for watching.